So on the left hand side you will have your logo, then you will have the three menus: swap, token and pool. From here anybody can search for any token, and from here you can easily able to find that which network you are connected to in your MetaMask. Once you connect, you will have your account address. You can click here and you can easily able to find all the token which you have in your MetaMask. Okay, so all the list of tokens, that what's the balance, name of the token and the symbol. You can simply close and you can see all the thing, and from here you can easily able to swap the token from one another. You can click here and you can do some advanced settings. So you can set the tolerance, you can set the timing, you can set the deadline timing, turn on advanced mode. Okay, and from here you can easily able to pick the token which you want to swap. So right now we have either, if you click on this, from here you can easily able to select whatever token you have. Okay, so I go for this dog token. I can click here and I have this dog, and here the balance of the token will display. If I click on this, I can come here and I can go for the token which I want. I want to go with the Uniswap. Click on this and here I have it, and I can click on this swap, so it will happen. So everything is dynamic. We'll take one step at a time, try to understand the every fundamental that what's going on. So that's the overview of the template which we are about to build in the very first sections. And after the first section we'll move to the second section where we're going to build the entire smart contract and write some code for the blockchain. So let me take you to my Visual Code Studio and let's start installing some packages and do some setup before we start creating this beautiful UI for our Uniswap clone. I hope you guys are excited. If you are, then hit that like button, do subscribe to my channel, do let me know that are you excited, type yes, and then we can start coding straight away. Hello beautiful people, here we are back in our Visual Code Studio, and now we're going to install a couple of powerful things which allow us to build our beautiful Uniswap clone. Okay, so I have created a folder, and right now you can see I have nothing in this folder. I have given the name to this folder is Uniswap clone because that's what we're going to do. So what we have to do is open up your terminal, and now we have to simply clear the terminal first, and now we're going to initialize our next app. You can create with a TypeScript, you can create with React, but I will go with my next tab because that's my favorite. So I'll tap next, create, and hit enter, and this will create all the folder and file structure for my application. So this will take a little bit time, but I'm using the power of editing, so it will happen very fast. So just wait, it's happening. And here you can see that we got our folder and file structure. Let's clear the terminal, and now let's come on this section in the pages, and now we have to clear this stuff. As you all know that before I start coding I need to have a clean environment. Okay, so I don't need to have those packages, those folder and file structure which I don't like, which I'm not going to use it. Okay, so first thing I will delete this API folder because I'm not going to use this one, and come back to the index. We're going to remove this entire code and we'll type RFCE, and I'm going to simply change the text to home, and in between we're going to type home. So this is our home page. Simply come here and go to this app.js, and here we have to convert this normal function into a arrow function. Okay, simply remove the copy this one, remove this, and take this block, take a div, inside that paste the code. So that's the setup for the app.js, and we're going to do a lot of setups. Okay, so just follow along with me. Now come here in the style file, and we don't need this style file, simply delete this one, and that looks good. Now come back to the packages file, and here you will find all the dependency and dev dependency which you are using in this project. Let's remove this packages. Simply copy, open up your terminal and type npx install and paste the name of the package, hit enter, and this will happen fast. Do the same thing for the other package as well. Simply copy the entire package and simply press arrow up, so that will take you to the previous command, and simply paste the name and hit enter. Now we have clean environment. So here we are using only those packages which we are, and that looks pretty fine to me. Now let's come here, and now we have to create the folder and file structure for our Uniswap clone. So let's create the first component folder, and that we're going to have all the components of our entire application. So let's come here, create another folder, this time called hero section. In that we're going to create a JSX file. Simply type modules and come here and type RAFCE, React's functional base component. That looks pretty good to me. So we have one component. Now let's create another component in the same component folder, and this one is called model. Now create a file, model JSX, and now we have to create the CSS file, model.css. So these are the two components we have. Let's create one more. This will say navbar. So navbar JSX RAFCE, and now we have to create the CSS file for this module.css. Three component. Now let's create the fourth one, search token. We have to create the JSX RAFCE, and now we have to create the CSS file module.css. So right now we have 4 folders. We need a couple of more. So I'll come here and we have to create this toggle JSX, and we have to create the CSS file for that as well. So module.css. So let's come here. Let's create one more, which is a token list. So the token list which we are showing that how many token user has, that's what we're going to build in this component. So let's create the JSX for this, and we have to create the CSS file for this as well, module.css. So for the time being, these are the folder and file structure we have all. And now we have to create the index file in which we're going to import the entire component. That's the logic we are following out in the entire previous project. So let's type index.js and simply press Ctrl W to close all the open files. And now we have to import all these files in the index. So things are looking good to me. Now let's quickly import. So we have to import the hero section, and that's coming from the hero section. Import the model, coming from the same directory. Import the navbar. Now we have to import the search token. We have to import the toggle button, and now the final one is the token list, and coming from the same directory. And now we're going to export the entire component which we have imported one by one. Looks good. Let's come down, type export, and we'll go say hero section, model, navbar, search token, toggle, and token list. This is how we are exporting all the component from this single file, and we can use it wherever we want in our entire application. So simply close this one and come here. And things looking good to me. Now let's come back to the pages and here, and come back to the styles. Delete this one because we are not using ESLint in our project, so it's better to remove this full file. Let's come back to the config file. Right now we don't need to do anything here. We definitely going to add something here when we'll deal with the blockchain. Okay, so no changes we have to do. Come back here. So far things are looking good to me. Come back to the global CSS, and here we have to define the font family and the colors which we are using in this project. So for that, what I want, come back here in the Google Fonts, and I'm using this project, and I have already selected couple of fonts which I am using in this, and this all you will get in a starter file. Don't need to worry. And here I have pre-selected the entire font file. So I'm using 100, 200, 400, 500, 700 till the way to 900. Now click on this Roboto. Here you will find that what I'm using, and you can simply scroll and you can see I'm using all these fonts sizes. And simply come here, go to this media query, simply grab this code, media query, copy, and come back to the code editor. Come back and simply paste on top. Come and paste on top. So these are the font which we are using in this project, and it's look good to me. Now we can simply remove this font family, and we can simply copy from here because we are using Roboto. So we have our font family, and now we have to import the colors which we are using in this project. So in the last video yesterday, I have uploaded a video on the free resources on the Figma community. Okay, so from there I'm going to pick the design concept, the color palette, and that's what I'm going to use in this project. So I have opened the Figma community, the project which I'm using, and here they have the colors, and these are the colors I'm going to use in this project. So, and if you want to know that how you have to do the editing, how you have to extract the files, then you can must watch the last video. In that I have explained everything when I was talking about the free resources. So this looks good. Click on this, and here from here left hand side you can easily able to navigate on the text, the colors which you want, and that's what I'm going to use it. Simply come here. So I have already completed this project, and this is the original project. So I'm simply going to copy the entire background color, and the font family from here. Don't need to worry, you guys will get this entire thing in the starter file. So simply copy this one, and I'll come back to the project here, and I'm going to simply paste here. Remove this and paste here. So we are done with the color and the font family. So that's the only setup we have to do here. It's looked pretty good to me. No problem. We have simply closed this one, and now we can start building. So let's come up and let's try to start the application and see how it looks on the browser, because we have done the folder and file structure. We have set our colors and the text color. So npm run dev, click on this, open up in your browser, and in my case I have 3001. In your case it might be 3000, because I have other project running in the same port. So it's look good to me, and here finally it's looking fine. We have our background color, we have our white text. So far things are looking good to us, and we are ready to start. Bring the terminal down. Now come back to the Figma community, and we need this icon. Remember that this is the icon, this is the logo we are using in our application. So we're going to take that icon, actually our logo. So let me zoom out and let me show you how you can extract. Simply click on this and you can easily able to navigate to that icon. Okay, so I can click on this. Inside that I have this icon. You can see I can easily able to select, and this is the complete icon, and from here I can easily able to export the icon. So I can have a preview. So this is how the icon would look like, and from here I can easily able to export. But I have already exported all the icons and the images which I'm using in this project. So I'm going to simply import the folder. So this is the original project which we have already completed, and I can simply come here and I'm going to simply drag and drop the folder. So let's bring that file. From here I can simply able to drag and drop this asset folder, and that we have all the images. Simply copy the folder, and if I open that you will find all the images which we have in this. So arrow up we have, arrow we have, and you can see that's tiny arrow, and we have the cross, we have the ether logo, home icon, and lock icon, we have search and swap. So this is our logo, and I have imported all the images in this index.js. Don't need to worry, I will provide this folder in the starter file, so you will have the images and all the setup. So here in this index file I have imported all the images one by one, and I'm making a default export. So that's the only thing I'm doing here, and this is the default export. So simply close down. So we have our images, we have our folder and file structure, we have our coloring. So everything is done. Now we can start working on the application, because we should always start with setting the entire environment, and after that we can start building. So now what we can want, let's come here and we can go to this index, and here we are. Here in the app.js I'm going to import the navigation bar, because navigation bar is going to be in every single page. So let's import the navigation bar. I'll say internal import, and this nav bar is coming from our component dot slash component slash index. So this is our nav bar. Simply come here and paste here. So our nav bar is set. If we save and come back to the application, you can see we have our nav bar and the home. Things are looking good to me. Come back to our code editor. So we are done with the setups. So this looks pretty fine. Close this one, and now we can go back to the component and we can start with navigation first. Click on this nav bar, go to this navbar.jsx, and let's start writing some JSX. So first thing, we have to import couple of things from React. So it's gonna be use state, use effect, and use context. Although we're not going to use this use context right now, but it's better to import it, because this use context will need when we'll use the React context for sharing the data, okay, for our state management. So just follow along with me. We have this three thing from React. Let's import the image that's coming from next and import the link. So these are the three external import, and let's do a couple of internal import. So import internal, and we need to import the style file for the navigation bar, and we have to import the images. So that's how I'm importing the image. I'm importing the entire image folder, and that's the image I have. And now I have to import the component which I'm going to use. So I need to use model, and I'm going to use the token list component, and that's coming from the index. Actually, we are in the component folder, so it's coming from the index file as well. So these are the two components we are using in the navigation bar. Looks good to me. So we have our internal and external import. Let's come down, and here let me take the menu. Altogether we are displaying 3 menu. So let's take menu item. It's gonna be an array of object. So the first one is going to be name, so I'll say swap. The second is link, and let's come down, simply replicate this 3 times because we'll have 3 pages, and this will say tokens, and this will say pools. So we have to add a lot of functionality. We want to make it 100% decentralized, like a Uniswap. No centralized authority going to provide any transactions. Everything would be done all through the smart contract and the blockchain. So I'm very excited because it took me a lot of time to design the entire architecture of this application, to explain you in an easier way, and to teach you more concept and how you can build your own. So that's the entire menu we have for our navigation. Let me give this command use state, and here I'm going to take a use state, and this will call, let's say, open model. Initially it would be false, so that's the model we have. Take another use state, and this will call open token box false. So that's the external, that's the internal, and these are the use state we have. So we are done with the setup, and now we can start working on the JSX part. So we come here, remove this one, take a div. It will have a class called style.navbar, and that's how we're going to assign the style, because we are using Next.js, and in Next.js this is how you have to denote your style classes. You have to use the style keyword, and you can call the class name, so navbar. I believe that this is nothing new to all of you. The same structure we have followed in our NFT marketplace, in our chat application, in our ICO. So let's take another div. It will have a class called style.navbar-box. In that, we're going to take another div. It will have a class called style.navbar-box left. Inside that, we're going to take another div. It will have a class called -navbar-box right. Actually, I remember that I have put inside the left. So simply do one thing, select this cut and bring it up and paste here. So here we're going to say left, this one is right. So let's save it and let's have a look in the browser. You can see everything is working fine. We have left and right and home. So things are looking good. Let's come back here, and we're going to remove this, and we're going to write some code in our left section first. So first we're going to take a div. It will have a class called style.navbar-box image, left image, and we'll have the image source image Uniswap, and we'll have this alt logo. We'll have this width 550 and height 50. So that's how the image would look like. So that's the image we have. Let me give this comment because it's very important that you should always provide comment in your JSX part, that what the JSX stand for. So we have the logo. Let's bring this down. We'll take the menu items, and here I'm going to take a div. It will have a class called navbar box left menu. In that we're going to have the menu. We have our menu items. We're going to use this map element I, and we want to instantly return this one. We'll take a link tag, and so we have imported this link tag. That's look good. Let's bring this down, and we'll take the key I+1. We'll take the href, and we'll say path $, template literal, and we have to provide the name. So element.name. So we have the name, and we have to send the query as well. So in the query we're going to send this element.link, which we have. So that's our link. Look fine so far. Now in this we're going to take this p tag, and it will have a class. It will have a class called navbar box left menu item, and in that we're going to display the menu itself. So link.name. and in that we have the name of the item. Looks good to me. Everything's looking fine. If we come here in the application, you can see we have our swap, token and pool. If you click on this, our router is also working fine. We can easily able to redirect to the token page, which we don't have. That's why you can see 404. Click on this token, we don't have this one. Click on pool, we don't have that one. So simply come here, remove this one, reload the browser, remove this and hit enter, and we are back. So our router is also working absolutely perfect. Things are looking good so far. We have all these menus. Let's come here and now we can start working in the middle section in the search bar. So let's come here. Let me type this right section. And actually we need to have a middle section. So what I can do, I can simply type middle and I can replicate this one and this will become middle. I have to change the name of the class middle. And let's start working in the middle section. It's actually going to be the search bar. So right now we are just building the layout, but we're going to add the functionality so the user can search the tokens. We'll take a div, it will have a class, and the class name we want to provide navbar box middle dash search. Inside that we're going to have a div, it will have a class called navbar box middle search dash image. In that we will take the image tag next.js and we have to provide the source, and this image is coming from the images which we have imported. Inside that images we have the search images. Okay, we made a default export, that's why we can easily able to use in this way. We have to provide the alt name, search width is going to be, let's say 20, and height is going to be 20. So looks pretty good so far. Let's come here, we have to provide the input section, and here we're going to take a input, normal input. It will have type, and type is going to be text. We have to provide the placeholder, and it will say search token. So we have our input, or we have our images. Things are looking good to me. Let's come down. Let's start working on the right section. So this section is going to be pretty huge. So let's start working straight away. Click remove, and we'll take a div. It will have the class. We'll say navbar box right box. Inside that we're going to take a div. It will have a class called style navbar box right box, and it will say, let's say image. In that we're going to have an image. We have to provide the source is ether, all tags, network, and we have to provide the height. So height is going to be 30 and width is going to be 30 as well. We'll come down, we'll take a p tag, and in that we're going to type the name. So we're going to do this hard code for the time being, network name, but we're going to make this dynamic. So that's the right section, and right section is also divided into section. We'll take a button and it will have a on click function, and so right now we don't have the function, so let's make an empty function, and we want to give the name to this button. Let's call it address for the time being. So that's the button we have. So everything's looking good. So we have the search icon, we have the input, we have the ether logo, network, address, and home. Things are looking good so far. Now what we can do is, let's come here and we're going to take the dynamic block, because we have to show the logging option. So we have to show the MetaMask, connect wallet, so user can click and connect. So let's take a open model. So this is the use state we have already taken, and we have to say that if open model is true, then we have to display this component. If it's false, then we have to hide this component. So we'll use this model, and in that we have to send couple of props. So set open models, because in the model section we will have a button which will hide this model. So that's why we are using this set open model. We'll say set open model, and we have to set the connect wallet function as well, but right now we don't have. So for the time being I just simply send this text message string. So that's the model for connecting from the wallet. That's one model we have, which we have to build. Let's come here, and now we have to work on the token list component, in which we're going to list all the token which user have in his wallet. So let's come here, and we're going to take this open token box. If it's true, then only we want to display this component. So here we're going to call the component, and in this we're going to pass couple of data, couple of props. So the first prop we have to pass the token data, exactly that, how many tokens we want to render. So the token data itself. So right now we don't have the token data, so let's pass a string hey. Now we have to send the props because we want to close this model as well. So let's send the props for that as well. That looks good to me. So these are the complete JSX part for writing this entire navigation. So this is the external, this is the internal we have, this is the navigation menus we have, this is the use state we have, and this is the entire JSX part we have written. So this is the logo section, this is the entire menu section, this is the middle sections, right sections, and the model component and the token list component. So hope everything is clear so far to all of you. So I believe that you guys have understood whatever we have done so far in our nav bar. And now what we can do, we can start styling the navigation bar straight away. So let's come here, go to this navbar module.css. Let's make it side by side so you guys can see what we are working and what we are exactly styling. So whatever JSX we have written so far, that's how it's looking on the browser. And now we're going to turn it something beautiful. So we have our navbar and we're going to assign the width is 90%. We have to assign the margin to RAM and auto. So we'll have some space from top and bottom. And we have to target the navbar box. And we have to assign the display grid template column, repeat 3 1FR, because we're going to divide the entire navigation in 3 parts. First, the left hand side, the second one is the middle section, and the third one is the right hand side. We have to assign the align item is going to be center, so that will keep everything in the center. Justify content is going to be, let's say, space between, so all the 3 section will have space from each other. We have to assign a gap, so 1 RAM, so that's how it will look. I know that's looking quite weird, but we're going to make it something beautiful. Come down, we have to target the navbar box left, and let's make it display flex. We have to provide a gap for RAM, and we have to provide the align item center. That's how it will look. Come down, left menu, let's say display is going to be flex, align item center, gap is going to be 2 RAM. So that's how it will look, looking pretty good. Now let's come here, we have to target the left menu item, and font size is going to be 1.2 RAM, little big, and we have to assign the color to our, so this is the color code which I got from the design, CFF80B. So that's the color for the text, looking fine to me. And from here I got the color. If I open it, and this is the color which I'm using. Okay, looking fine. Come back to the code. Let's come down and we have to target the, let's say, navbar middle sections. We have to say background is going to be our primary color, so 1E 1E 1E. So this is the primary color we are using. We have to assign the width is 80%. Padding is going to be 1 RAM and 0.5 RAM. Border radius is going to be 0.5 RAM. Let's provide margin 0 auto. Everything will be, that will hold everything in middle. Let's come down. Now we have to target the navbar middle search. It will have our display is going to be a flex, justify content center, and align item center. Gap is going to be 2 RAM, and cursor pointer. So things will be in the middle. Come down. We have to target the middle. We have to target the input. First thing we have to say background is going to be transparent. Remove the outline, none. Remove the border, none. And we have to set the font size to 1 RAM. Color is going to be our second primary color. We have to target the navbar box right. And that's how it will look. We have our left side looking good. We have our menus and we have our search bar in the middle. And now we have to work on the right hand sides, this part. So let's make it on 335 pixels, 320 pixels. First thing we have to target display is going to be a flex, align item center, justify content end, and gap is going to be 1 RAM. Navbar box right box, display is going to be flex, align item center, gap 1 RAM. Background color, our primary color, padding 1.5 RAM and 1.5 RAM. We have border radius 0.5 RAM and cursor pointer text transformation capitalize. That looks stunning. Let's come down. We have to target the navbar box right P, font size 1.2 RAM, line height 0, color is going to be our second primary, and that's how it will look. Come down. Navbar box right button. Background color is going to be primary 1, border none, outline none, and color our second primary, and border radius 0.5 RAM. Padding 1 RAM, 1.2 RAM, and 1.5 RAM. Font size 1.2 RAM, cursor pointer. Display is going to be flex, align item center, gap 1 RAM. That's how it will look. Everything's looking pretty beautiful. Let's make on a full screen, and that's how it will look on a desktop. So we have our left, middle, and the right side. All these data is static type, but we're going to make it dynamic. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's make it inspect element, and let's start working on the responsive. Add media query only, and we'll say max width 35 em. We'll target the navbar. Width is going to be 90%. We'll target the navbar box. Grid template column 0.5 RAM and 1 FR. That looks pretty good. We have to target the navbar box middle, display none, and we have to tab bar the menu and display none. So that's how it will look. And actually I don't want to display the network, that which network user is connected. So let's hide that part as well. So let's come here. We have to target the navbar right box, and we have to still display none. So that's how it will look. On a mobile device, we want to display only the icon and the addresses. So things are looking good to me, pretty good. And let's check on the breakpoints. So it's pretty good. We're going to do a lot of things in this. So for the time being, that looks pretty good. For the time being, I'm not displaying the menus because the menu is not ready. Okay, so when we build the menus and the pages, on that time we're going to worry about the menu. For the time being, let's go like this. So we are done with the CSS part. Simply come here and close this one. Now we have to start working on the model section, because on the model section we'll have the options for the user, so user can connect to the MetaMask or any other wallet. So altogether we are displaying 3 options, and that's what we're going to design inside this model. So come here inside the model, and here you can see we are done with this part, and that's how it will look on a browser. So in this model we are sending couple of props. So we are sending set open model, and we are sending the connect wallet function. So simply click on this, and this is the setup. Now we have to import couple of things from React: use state, use effect. We have to import the image, and we have to do the internal imports. We have to import the CSS file, and that's coming from the same directory. Now we have to import this assets, all the images, and that's coming from the assets folder. So this is nothing new. We are following the same old school. That looks pretty good. And here, let's come here. We have to give this import couple of states. Let's take couple of variables. So we'll say const wallet name. So altogether we are displaying 4 types of wallet. So let's take it as an array. So first one is going to be MetaMask. Second one is going to be Coinbase. Third one is going to be wallet, and the last one we have is wallet connect. User will have to connect to. So that's the menu we have. Now these are the props we are sending into our model component. So simply copy and complete paste here. You should always, whenever you receive props in the model, make sure to use this bracket. If you don't provide this bracket, it will throw an error. Okay, so make sure to provide the bracket, and in that you have to import all the props which you want to receive. So let's come here. We have to receive this prop as well. So these are the true props we are sending for the time being. Don't need to worry about the functionality. Once the functionality is ready, we're going to simply plug the functionality and everything would be working fine. So let's go like this. Now we have to start working on the JSX. So we'll take a div, it will have a class called style model. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have a class called style model dash box. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have a class called style model box heading. And in that we're going to display text. So connect a wallet, and down below we'll have a div, it will have a class called style and model box heading image, and it will have the image of the, so I'll take the image source image and I have the image close, and this will say alt. So generally this one is the close one. It will have an on click function, so whenever we click on this model will close. And we have received this prop and we have to set false. If it's true, then the model will open. If the model is true, then if we click on that cross button, it will turn to false. So that's the prop we are utilizing here. Let's come here, and that's the one we are using in the model. And here you can see initially we have assigned the value to false. So if someone will open, it will turn to true. And when it will turn to true, that means that the model is open, and when someone will click on the cross button, it will close. So that's the entire logic we have here, and that's what we have learned. So things are looking pretty good to me, and we're going to take another div. It will have a class called style dot model box wallet. Inside that we're going to take the menu variable, the array, and we're going to simply loop over it element I, and we want to have instant return in the P. So it will have a key and it will have an on-click functionality, and in that we're going to call the function which we have received, connect wallet. So right now we don't have the function, just call it like it. It will not create any problem unless or until you will not click on that. So that's working fine, and here in that we're going to display the name of the wallet element. So that's how it will look. Things are looking pretty good to me. No more problem we have here. Let's come here. We have to take a p tag. It will have a class called style model para, and in that I'm going to simply paste the text. Paste. So this is what I have copied from the original Uniswap website. The text, you can get it from there as well, or you can pause the video and you can simply write. So that's the entire JSX. Let's add the break so it will look nice. So that looks pretty good to me. So far we are doing pretty well. Come here and let's come back, and now we have to simply, to see that how the model is looking on the on the browser, we have to turn it to, currently it's false, so we have to provide this exclamation mark. This will turn to true, and now we can easily able to see that model. You can see this is how it look token list, but this is not what I want to display. Simply remove this one and do this spawn. Okay, we have to simply call this, and here we have that. We have the current wallet, we have the button, we have the providers and the paragraph. Things are looking good so far, and now we have to style this component. Now come back here and we have to simply select this model component and come back and go to this model, open the CSS file and make it side by side, and we can start working on the CSS part as well. Things are looking pretty good to me. We have to model and we can say positions absolute, insert 0%, 0%, 0%. Background is going to be our primary color. But we have to provide the opacity 5A. Display is going to be grid, align item center, justify content center. Height is going to be 100 VH. Width is going to be 100 VW. And we have to Z index, so it will be on top of everything. Model box background color is going to be our primary color. Padding 2 RAM, border radius 0.5 RAM, that's how it will look. Model box heading, display flex, align item center, justify content space between. Model heading P, font size 1.2 RAM. Model box wallet P, background color our second primary color. We have to assign the padding 1 RAM, border radius 0.5 ram, color ours primary, and font width is going to be 700 and cursor pointer. So that's how it will look. You can see it's looking pretty beautiful. Come down, we have to target the model box. Para, padding is 1 ram, line height 1.2, border 1 pixel solid, and it will have our second primary color. Border radius 0.5 ram, so that's how it will look, pretty good. Right now you can't close it because to close it you have to make it true. So that's how it will look. This click is not working because we have hard coded the value. So to make things work, we can come back here, go to this navigation, and here you can see that we have used this exclamation. So all we have to do is to simply remove this one and save it. Come here and click on this. Okay, this one is not working. Okay, my bad. Actually, I'm not calling the function. So you can see the address is blank. So here we have to call the function. Actually, the state, simply copy this one. And the same thing we have to call it here. So when someone will click on this address, we have to make our state true. Initially it's false, so we have to turn it to true. So this will open the component. Click on, you can see it's working fine. And if you click on this, you can close it. Open, close, open, close. It's already looking beautiful. Let's do the inspect element and see the responsiveness. So that's how it will look on a mobile device, 100% responsive. And that's how it will look on a desktop. Looks pretty awesome to me. Simple, sweet, but powerful. You can close it, you can open it. Now let's come back to the code, and I guess we are done with this model. This looks pretty good to me. If we find that we need to add anything else, and obviously we have to add the functionality. Right now it's not doing anything, but we're going to add it. So simply close this one, and come back to the navigation. And here we have to create this component as well, token list. So let's quickly start working on it. Simply come here, and here we have to receive the props, so the data, and we have to receive this one as well. So these are the two props we are receiving, and now we have to receive a couple of things from React. So let's come here. So let's import the image, and let's do the internal import. We have to import the CSS file that's coming from the same directory. We have to import the entire images, and that's coming from the assets folder. So those are the external and internal imports we have. Now let's create a couple of variables. So data, and this will say 1 2 3 4 and 7. So right now we have no data which we can use to render the token list, that how many token a user have in his account and how many types of token he has. So for the time being, just for the designing purpose, we are going with this demo array, but everything we go to make it dynamic. So let's come here, let's start writing the JSX. We'll take a div, it will have a class called style, and it will call token list. Inside that we'll have this p, it will have a class called style dot token list dash close, and in that we're going to have an on click function, and we're going to call this set open token to false, because when someone will open this model means our open token is true, and we have to turn is false to close it. So that's the logic, and here we are missing the arrow. Let's provide it. So that looks pretty good. Now in that we're going to simply provide the image. So we have to provide the close images, all tag, we'll say close with, and we have to provide the height as well, 550. That looks pretty good to me. Now come here, we have to take a div, it will have a class called style dash token list dash title. In that we're going to take this h2, we'll say your token list. Looks pretty good. We have this h2, and down below we're going to render the entire token. So right now we have taken the demo data and we're going to use it for time being. So we have that array, we're going to loop over it element I, and it's a string return, and we're going to take a div, it will have a class style dot token list dash box. It will have another div. It will take dot token list box info. Inside that we'll have this p, and we're going to provide this class style dot token list box info symbol, and inside that we're going to provide the text hey. Right now we don't have any data for the symbol, so right now we are going with this hardcode value hey. We'll come down, and here we're going to provide this span, and inside this span we're going to provide that how many token a user have. So let's do hardcode, and we can provide the coin name, the token name itself. So that's the entire demo dynamic data, and you can see right now nothing is happening. So to see things are looking good, we have to come here and we have to turn this to true, because right now it's false. So make it true and save it, come back, and here you can see we have the list of all the arrays. So total altogether we have taken the 7 array, and it's rendering 7 times. We have the name, we have the icons, and we have the name, and everything's looking pretty good to me. So pretty good. Come back to the code and simply do side by side, and we can start working on the css. Let's bring this side and come here, and we have to grab the class, and let's come back to the token list and the css file, and now we have to target that. So we'll say token list position is going to be absolute, because we want it to be on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. So position absolute, width is going to be 20 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, background our primary color, margin top is going to be 2 ram, margin left is going to be 66.4 ram, and padding is going to be 1 ram. So that's how it will look. It's far on the right hand side, but we're going to make it responsive for the time being. So make it on a full screen. So that's how it will look on our desktop. And you might be wondering that from where I'm getting these numbers. These numbers are not magical, because I have already built this project and I found that which value I have to put for placing the div and the boxes. Okay, so we have the main token list, and now we're going to work on the other one. So we'll target the token list title. Well, it's going to be 100%. Padding is going to be 0.2 ram and 1 ram. Font width is going to be 900, and line height is going to be 0. Cursor color, it's going to be our second primary color. We have to target our font size 0.8 ram, border radius 0.5 ram. That looks good. Let's come down. We have to target the close button itself, and this time we're going to say position is going to be absolute, right is going to be -1 ram, cursor pointer, top is going to be -2 ram, z index on top of everything. So that's how it will look. Pretty good. Come here, target the token list box, position relative, cursor pointer, border bottom 1 pixel solid, and we have our this light color. It's actually a second primary color, but I have added the opacity 53. That's how it look. Let's target the box info. Display is going to be grid template column 1fr 5fr. Cap is going to be 1 ram. Align item center. That looks pretty good. Come down. We have to target the box info p span, and font size is going to be, let's say, font width is going to be 900. Color is going to be our second primary, and I want to provide some space from the right hand side. 0.5 ram would be enough. Okay, that looks good. Come down. We have to target the box info symbol, and background color is going to be primary color, padding is 0.5 ram, and border radius 0.5 ram, and we'll have our color to primary, and font width is going to be 700. So that's how it will look. It looks already beautiful. You can see everything is working fine, and don't need to worry that this data is going to be dynamic. Once you will log, and it will fetch all the data from your MetaMask and it will display. So that looks pretty good to me. And okay, so we have our symbol. Let's check the responsiveness. This is how it will look on a mobile. And now let's add the media query. So let's come here, and I can go back to into the nav bar, and we have written already media query. So I'm going to simply copy this one and come back, because this is the breakpoint I'm going to use in the entire application. So that looks good. Simply come here, copy this one, and we have to first, what's the width we have provided? So we have to set this margin left to 0. That looks good. Let's say minus to, no, -1, 0. 0 is better. 0 is better. Now we have to take this one, token list close, and we have to adjust the placement of this. So we'll say right is going to be 1 RAM, so it will come on this side, and we can easily move to 2. That's how it will look. And here we have the width, so simply copy that one and paste, not here, we have to paste here. And the width I want is, let's say, 90%. So that's look good, 100% responsive, and that's looking pretty good. Now what we can do is close this one and come here. So that's what we have now. Now turn this one, remove this and save it. Right now you can see we don't have, and that's how it will look. And right now we are not connected, there is no account, so this is the one which is displaying, because we haven't written any logic for the account on which we're going to build the logic. So when a user is connected, then on that time we're going to display this token list. But if the user is not connected, we're going to display this connect wallet option. Actually we don't have the address, so that's why we can't able to do anything like that right now, but everything will work fine. So if I provide this, so this is the button where we go to attach the functions for closing and opening both the models. So let's change, this is the function we have here, and that's how it will look. And let's come up here, and what I'm going to do is, so if I turn this to true, if I click on this one is also opening. And okay, let's remove this one, save it, and you can see right now it's opening. Remove this, save it, and if I turn this to false, if I click on this is how it will open. And right now it will not opening here, we can't full the screen. So things are looking good, everything's working fine. We have successfully designed our component. We're going to build that logic, because right now we don't have the data, so right now we can't able to build the logic, although we can do that, but we have to write a lot of custom codes, which I don't want to do it. Let's come here, and now we can start working on the other component as well. So this is the model component we have done with the nav bar, we have done with the token list. So 3 component is already done. Now we can come here and we can start working on the hero section. So click on this, and this is what I have so far. Come here and go back to the pages, and in the pages we have to import couple of things. So we have to use the use state, use effect, and use context. So these are the 3 things coming. Now we have to do the internal import, and we have to simply import the hero section, the component, and that's coming from the component index. So we have the hero component. Now what we can do is, let's come here, we can take a div. Inside the div we're going to call the component, and all the data we're going to share right up here. Okay, first we'll receive the data in the index page, and we're going to send as a prop in our hero section. So let's send couple of props. So we have to send the account, because we have to build a logic around this, and right now we don't have, so we are sending this text. We have to send the token data, that how many tokens user has, and last now we don't have the data, so just send the text. And now let's receive this prop, receive the props account, and we have to receive this token data. So that's the setup we have to do. And now we can start saying that this is how the hero section would look like. You can see everything's looking perfect, no error we have here. Now we have to import couple of things from React, use context. We have to import the image, And we have to do the internal import as well. So import style from same directory, and we have to import all the images, and that's coming from the assets folder. Now we have to import the, let's say, component. So first, the component we need is the token component. We need the token search component, and that's coming from the, let's say, index. I believe everything's looking fine to all of you guys. If you have still any confusion, or if you haven't subscribed and like my video, please do that. That will help me a lot. And here we're going to take the states. So first thing, we need the open setting. Initially it will be false. We'll take the another one, open token false. We'll take the use state, and this will say open tokens 2, and this will be also false. So these are the 3 states we have taken, and now we have to take 2 more states for the token. So there's token 1, and this will be an object. So we'll say token 1, and in that it will have the name. Initially it will be empty, and we'll have the image. So when someone will select the token, we want to fetch the data and we want to display. So this is the token 1. Simply copy and paste token 2, and we have to change the name to token 2. Come here. Now let's start writing the J6. Take a div. It will have a class called style hero section. Inside that we'll have another div, style hero section box. Inside that we'll have another div. It will have a class called style dot hero section box heading, and in that we're going to take a p tag. It will say swap, and it will have a div. Inside the div we'll take the class, and the class we want to say heading image, and in that we're going to display the image. So we have the source, we have all the images in this close, and we have to provide the all tag. Let's say image width is going to be 50 and height is going to be 50. So this one is going to be our close button. So let's add an on click function, and we have the props. We'll say set open setting to true. So when someone will click on this, it will open the model in which the user will have the option to select different tokens. So let's provide this equal sign. Now things are looking good. Let's come down. We'll take a div. It will have a class called style hero section box input. Inside that we'll take this input text, and placeholder is going to be 0. We'll take a button. It will have a on click function, and the function we want to call is this set, and that's what we're going to call it, and we're going to say true. In that we're going to take this image, and we will have this image. If we have the image, so display the image. If we don't have the image, then we have to display this default image, which is a ether logo. Hope this makes sense. So when we'll have the data in the token 1 or in the token 2, then we're going to display that. Otherwise we'll display this default image. It will have a width 20, height is going to be 20, and we have to provide the alt as well, ether. So that's the image component we have. Sorry, image. We'll take this dynamic block. We'll say to token 1 dot name. When the user will select the token in the 1, this will get updated. So if we have the name, to display the name. If we don't have the name, then display the default name is ether. So that's the entire logic. And here we're going to display that price, how many token the user has. So right now we're going with this hardcode value. So that looks pretty good for the token 1. And what we can do is simply come here, copy and paste, because we need to have 2 input. Then the user can swap the token. So that looks pretty fine to me. Let's come here, and here we're going to say token 2. And here we have to, let's say, here we have to do the changes token 2 as well. That looks good to me. Now come down. Account. If we have account, then we want to display this button. Okay, so let's come here, and we have to display a button. So here we're going to take a button, and in this we're going to have a class, and we'll say hero box button. We'll say connect wallet if there is no account, but if do we have account, then we want to display different button. Okay, simply copy and paste here, and that looks pretty good to me. And here it will have on click functions, and the function we want to call, actually we don't have the function right now, so just set this empty functions for the time being. So once we have the function, we all going to do is simply attach the function in this button so the transaction can happen. And this looks good. And we have to change the token to swap, so the user can swap the token. And that looks pretty good to me, and that's the entire JSX part. Actually, we need couple of more, because when someone will click on the, we have to display the like tolerance, so the user can set the deadline and the model. Okay, so let's start building that part first. We'll say open setting. If we have the open setting, then we want to display this token in which we have all the tokens. Okay, so let's send the props. So we want to send this open setting, so we can close this model. We have to take another one. We'll say open token. If it's open, then we have to call this search token. Now let's call the search token component. From the user can search the token, and in that we're going to send a couple of props. So first one is going to be the open token, and the other one is going to be the data of the token. Right now we don't have, so let's call it token. And right now we can simply come here, let's call it tokens. Let's set this, and let's call it set token 1. And we have this token data. Right now we don't have the data, so we are sending this one. So that's the first token, and we have to do one more second token as well. Simply copy this one part and replicate this one. And here we have to do the change. So we'll say set open token 2, and here we're going to set open token 2, and here we have to do the changes as well. So it's not only open token. I believe that you guys have spotted the error. So that's looking pretty fine to me. We have two dynamic block in which we are storing the data of two different token which user want to show up. So that's the entire JSX part for the zero section. Is looking pretty good. Let's reload the browser, and you can see that's how it will look. We have the swap, we have the image, we have the input and the hardcode value and the button itself. So that looks pretty good. No more error we have, and now we can make it side by side, so we can start working on the CSS part. Let's do the inspect element, make it side by side, and from here I can grab this search, hero search, so we can target and start styling. And let's target that width. Let's assign the width is going to be 90%, margin to RAM auto, display is going to flex, align item center, justify content center, position and relative, hero section box, margin top is going to be 5 RAM, background color is going to be our primary color. We'll have our padding 1 RAM, border radius 0.5 RAM, width is going to be 30 RAM. Let's come down. We have to target the box heading. Display is going to be flex, align item center, justify content space between. I'm going a little faster for the CSS because we are following the same structures, same syntax, same variables. So that's why I'm going a little faster here. If you guys think that I'm too fast, then you can simply adjust the speed from the setting. Okay, so let's target that. We'll target the hero section input, and display is going to be flex, align item center, justify content space between, border 1 pixel solid, and we'll have our second primary color, border radius 0.5 RAM, padding left is going to be 2 RAM, margin top 1 RAM. That's how it will look. Come down. We have to target the hero section box input itself. Border is going to be 0, outline 0, background color transparent, color second primary, font size 1.2 RAM, and that's how it will look. Let's adjust the width, and that looks pretty fine, but we have to make it responsive for all the devices, and we can do it very easily. So let's come here, and we're going to target the box input button. Display is going to be flex, align item center, justify content space between, gap is going to be 1 RAM, line height 0, background color our second primary, padding 1 RAM, font width 700, font size 1.2 RAM, border radius 0.5 RAM. That's how it will look, pretty beautiful. Let's come down and target the hero section dash box button. Background color our second primary, border 0, outline 0, width is going to be 100%, margin top is going to be 1.5 ram, padding 1 ram, border radius 0.2 ram, 2 ram, font size 1.2 ram. That's how it will look. Let's come here, target the media query, so only, and max width is going to be 35 em. So hero section width is going to be 95%. Target the hero box, and this will say width is going to be 95%. Okay, that's perfect. And we have to adjust the input width as well. So let's target the input itself, and the width that we want to set is, let's say, 50%. So now it looks pretty good. You can see that looks perfect on a mobile device, and that's how it will look on a desktop. So we have the icons, we have the input, we have the balance and the ether. Here we are sending the props and receiving the props. And actually we haven't created this token component, so this one is not we have created. So let's quickly create that one. Okay, so let's come here and create another component. Create a folder called token. We have to create the JSX file, and we have to create the CSS file as well. Click on this and create the CSS file, module.css, and that looks pretty good. And if we come here back in the token sections, and here we are sending this prop open setting, so simply copy, and that's what we have to receive here as a prop. And now we have to receive a couple of things from the React as well. So use state, use effect, we have to import the image, we have to do the internal import style, that's coming from the same directory. We have to import the images, that's coming from the asset folder. We have to import couple of components, so we need to import the toggle button. So when someone will click, it will go to left to right. That's the button we are creating. And say from, and let's say it's coming from the index, and that's the internal import we have. Now we can start working on the JSX. So let's take a div, it will have a class, say, let's say token. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have a class called style.token dash box. We'll have another div, it will have a style dash token box heading. We'll have a h4, and here we're going to type our text setting. We'll come down, we'll take our image, we'll say images dot close button. It will have the alt tag, close width 50, height 50, and it will have an on click function. So this will allow us to close the model. So we'll say this is what we have received. Simply copy, come here, and we are calling this open setting. And actually we didn't need to we have to call this set open setting. We have to call, simply copy this, and we have to set this, change this to open setting, not set open setting, not only open setting. Okay, so simply copy and receive the right one, and that's the one we're going to call it here. We'll say it false. So that's our close button we have, looking fine. Come here, we'll take a p, it will have a class called style dot token box para. In that we're going to take this slippage tolerance, and down below we're going to take this image, and we want to display the image of the lock. It will have the alt tag image, width is going to be 20 and height is going to be 20, pretty small. So that's the slippage tolerance. Let's take a div, it will have a style, it will have a token box input. Inside that we'll have a button, and it will say auto, and down below we're going to take the input, and this input will have a text type placeholder 0.10%, because that's what I want to set as a percentage. You can set it something high, but this I'm going with the 10%. Okay, 0.10%. So that's the input we have. Now we can come down, we can take a para, and it will have a class called style box para. Actually, we are repeating. Simply do one thing. Simply copy this part and replace this with, because we going to need the same thing. We can only change the text. So lock would be there, and we have to, the snippet orange is also there. Okay, so right now I'm going with this text, but we're going to check it. Simply copy this part as well and simply paste here. So this is the two input field we have, copy, cut and paste here, and change the text, because this is what we have in the design, and this is going to be 30. So that looks pretty good to me. This looks pretty decent. And now we're going to take this h3, and in that we'll say interface setting, and we'll take a div. It will have a class style dot, we'll say token box toggle. In that we're going to take this paragraph and we'll say style token box, and in that we're going to simply type our text, transaction deadline. So that's the one we have. And now here we're going to call the toggle component itself, and that's the entire JSX part for this token. We haven't written any code for the toggle, but we're going to create that as well. So let's come here and come to the browser, and if I click on this, you can see I am getting this error message. Refresh, and I know why I'm getting this error message, because we have created this component, token component, but we haven't imported that, and we are using straight away. So if I turn this on, I'll get an error. You can see I'm getting that error because I haven't imported the component, token component. So that looks pretty good to me. That's the only error I have. Come here and we go to into the index.js, and here we have to import the token component, and we have to export that. Simply copy and we have to simply export it. If you save it, come back, and right now you can see we have the token component, and our click function is also working. Close, open, close, open. It's working fine. Now we can start styling that part. So let's do the inspect element very quickly, and come here, go to this index, close this one, and here we are. Copy this hero section, and we can start styling that part. Simply come here, and things are looking good to me. So we have to start working on the token itself, because we have done the hero section. So let's start working on the token style part. Come here, go to this where it is here, and we have to target the token, make it side by side. First thing is going to be position absolute, margin 0 auto, background color is going to be our primary color, and padding is going to be 2 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, and width is going to be 13 ram, and height is going to be 25 ram. So that's how it will look, pretty good. Let's come down. We have to take the token and box heading. Display is going to be flex, align item center, justify content space between, token box heading 2, sorry, font size going to 1.2 ram, line height 0, token box para, display flex, align item center, gap is going to be 1 ram. Let's come down, token box input, display flex, gap is going to be 1 ram, align item center, token box input button, background color is going to be our second primary, border 0, outline 0, padding 0.5 ram and 1 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, font size and font size 1 ram. That's how it will look, pretty good. Target the token box input, color transparent, border 0, outline 0, width is going to be 80%, and border is going to be 1 pixels solid, and it will have our second primary color. Padding is going to be 0.5 ram and 1 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, text align end, and cursor pointer. Actually that looks pretty good, but I don't need the cursor. Simply remove this one, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's come down. We have to target the token box toggle, And display is going to flex, align item center, justify content, space between. That's how it will look. Now let's add the media query only and max width 35 em. Token width is going to be 100%. That looks pretty beautiful. And that's the token width we have. We can open, we can close. You can see it's 100% responsive. That looks pretty good on our desktop. We can easily able to type the slippage tolerance. Right now it's not doing, but it's going to work. So that's the entire CSS parts looking pretty good. And here we can provide this color. So if we type, we can have the color in the input as well. Look good to me. And we can open, close. Things are looking good. Things are looking good to me. You can close. And now we can start working on the toggle section. So what we can do, let's make it inspect element. This looks pretty good to me. Close this one, and here we are. And that's the component we have. And this is the token we have. Inside the token we have this toggle. So let's click on this, and that's what we're going to work on now. So first thing we have to do is we have to import couple of things. So we have to do the internal import. We need the style file, and let's remove this one. We'll take a div. It will have a class called style dot toggle div. It will have another div. It will have a class called toggle dash switch. It will have this input type is going to be, let's say, check box, and it will have a class called style dot check box. Name is going to be, let's say, what we can call something like no, and we can provide the id. So we can take the, let's do one thing, let's take this label and simply copy this one and replace it with this label as well, and we have to receive that label as a prop. Okay, so let's receive that as a prop, and what we can do, we can simply come here and we can send that as a prop. So in the prop I can send the text to no. Okay, so that's the prop we are sending in the toggle, and that's what we are receiving, and this looks pretty good. Now let's take here another label, and here we're going to display the label. We have to take the class style and we'll call it label, and come here and we have to take the span, and here we're going to take the class is going to be, let's say, inner, and it's going to be, let's say, let's take a toggle inner, because this is the convention we are following. Toggle, let's do that for all the classes. Let's call it toggle dash label. This looks pretty good, and this one is going to be self-closing. Okay, replicate it and change this to switch, and that looks pretty fine. And that's the only JSX part we have to write for this toggle button. If we need anything extra, we can definitely come back here. So let's come here, copy this toggle class, and let's start styling on the CSS part. Simply click on this and make the things side by side so we can see what we are working on. So let's click on this and how it will look. Click on this, you can see we have our checkbox. That means everything's working fine. Now we can target that toggle, text align center, toggle switch. It will have a position relative. Width is going to be 75%. Display is going to be inline block and text aligned left. Top is going to be 8 pixels. We'll come down, we'll target the toggle check box. Display is going to be none because we want to display our custom toggle. The second one is toggle dash label. Display is going to be block, overflow hidden, cursor pointer, border 0 pixels solid, and we have this random color. You can pick anything, no matter. So I'm going with this gray one. Now let's take this border radius 20 pixels. Let's come down. We have target the toggle inner. Display is going to be block. Width is going to be 200%. Margin left is going to be minus 100%, and we'll have the transition is going to be margin 0.3 second, easy in zero point 0 second, 0 second. Let's come here. We have to target the toggle dash inner before, and we have to target the toggle dash, and this is the after. And here we have to set the float is going to be left, width is going to be 50%, height is going to be 36 pixels, padding is going to be 0, line height is going to be 36 pixels, color is going to be our white, and it will have our font width is going to be bold. Box sizing is going to be border box. That looks pretty good to me. Right now you can't see anything, but everything's happening. So let's come here, and this time we can come down and we can simply target the toggle inner before. So earlier we targeted the together because we want to apply the styling, some common styling, and now we're going to target individually. So content type is going to be yes before one is, we'll say padding left is going to be 10 pixels, background color is going to be our second primary, and color is going to be our primary color. What you can do is simply replicate this one, and you have to change this text to no, and that looks pretty good. Okay, let's come down. We have to target the toggle switch, and display is going to be, let's say, block. Width is going to be 24 pixels, margin 5 pixels, and we have the background color is going to be our this red color. We'll have the position absolute, top is going to be 0, bottom is going to be 0. Okay, that's weird. This is not what I want. Okay, we have done something wrong. Okay, right is going to be 40 pixels, and border is going to be, let's say, 0 pixels solid, and this random color. So something's wrong. Okay, let's write the code. Transition all 0.3 second, easy in, and 0s. That looks pretty good to me. Now let's come down, and this is okay, this is also okay. Let's comment this out, no problem. And we can target this toggle checkbox. We'll say checked. If it's checked, then we have to target the toggle label. We have to target the toggles, and this is called inner, and we have to say margin left is going to be 0. Simply do one thing, replicate this one, and here we have to do the changes. So instead of toggle inner, we have to say toggle switch, and this will also be changed, so we can say right 0. So okay, some problem we have because this looks weird. Save it, and if you click on this, our animation is working fine. You can see it's sliding beautifully, but there is some problem. It's working. What we can do, come here, and I can see the problem where it's happening. You can see I have assigned the same classes in two places, toggle switch and toggle switch, one for the div and one for the span. So what I can do, I can simply change this to toggle switch box. If you save it, copy, and come here, and if I replace this one, toggle switch, and boom, you can see now it's looking fine. You can click, but it's not 100%. This is not what I want. And if I come here, and here I can see that it's 2. So let's change this one, let's make it 1. Maybe this could fix this one. Save it, and here we have to change this, not before, it's after. Save it, and you can see now it's looking pretty good. So you can see, but this is not what I want. Still we have to do some, and this one is right, we have to make it, it is left. Okay, you can see the before one is left, but we have to turn it to right, so we have to turn this to right. It's good, and this one is fine to me. And here we can define that, so we can say border radius, because we have to make it a circle, and it's now a square, so that's look good. We have this circle, and okay, that looks good. We have to do adjustment. Let's come back to the code, and I know where is the problem is happening. So that looks good. There is no problem in this code, in this area. In the label section we have, So this is the problem we have, and actually my bad, it's percentage we have to assign in pixels. Save it, and now it's look good, you can see. Okay, we have to provide a little bit space, so let's come here, and here we can add that space. So let's say text alignment is going to be right, and now it's going to be good. It looks beautiful. You can see yes, no, yes, no. And if you do the inspect element, it's already 100% responsive for mobile device as well. And that's how our toggle is looking. This is how our custom toggle, open close, everything's looking fine to this. You can type the tolerance, you can type the slippage, everything's working fine. You can check the media query, it's 100% responsive. That looks good. And now, okay, this is the problem we have. We have to fix this one. Still we have this problem. But this far we have came and everything's working fine. No more issues we have. Completely close this one, close this one. And now we can come back here. Now go back to the hero section, click on this hero section, and in the hero section we have this search token. Okay, so this is the only component is left where we have to display all the token in which user can select, and it will swap the token. Okay, so this is the search token we have. Simply click on this, and we have to receive the props. Although we are making this component as a reusable component because we are using in two different places. Okay, so we have to give the similar name. So simply copy this open token, copy this tokens, the data, and this is the data itself. And now we have to import couple of things from React. So use state, we have to import the image, and we have to do the internal import. So import style, and that's coming from the directory. We have to import the entire images asset folder, and here we're going to define couple of use states. So let's give this comment use state, and we'll say active. So whenever a user will select any particular token, we have to turn it that token to active. So it will be initially one ether, and we'll take a variable, we'll say coin. So right now we don't have the data, so let's take a demo data. So coin, and it's gonna be an object. It will have the image of the token. So image dot ether, which in the image we have all the images, and we're displaying the image. And let's give the name. So we'll say name, it's ether, and simply replicate couple of times. Okay, replicate couple of times. So this is the entire our demo data which we have in the coin. Okay, so that's the demo data. Let's start working on the JSX part. Div class style, and we want to call it to search token. We'll take another div, it will have a style search token dash box. Inside that we'll have another div, it will have a style search token dash box heading. Inside that we'll take this h4, and it will say select a token. Well, down below we'll take this image src image dot close, because when our model is open, the search token component is open, we have to close it as well. Okay, so we have to assign that. So we'll say close, it will have the width to 50, height to 50, and it will have on click function, so it will close it. And we have that function here, open token, and that we have to send that to false. So that's the closing button. Now let's come down, we'll take a div, it will have a class called dash search token box dash search. In that we'll take a div, it will have a class search dash box dash search image, and we'll take this image. In that we have the images dot search alt, and width is going to be, let's say, 20, height is going to be 20. So we have the images. Now let's come down, we have to take the input, so the user can type the token name and they can search, or they can put the address of the token and they can search. So let's do placeholder is going to be something like search name and paste the address. So that's the input, and here we're going to simply render the demo data. So that looks good. We'll take a div, it will have a class called style token box token, and in that we're going to use the demo data. So we'll have the data in this coin, we're going to map over it, element I instant return. We'll take a, let's say, small tag, take a span, and in that it will have a key. So active I plus 1, then we have to display this class. So it will take a template filter style dot active, else we want to display nothing. So I believe you guys have understood that what we are exactly doing. So hope this makes sense. This is the simple JavaScript. So that's what we have here. Let's come down, inside that we let's have a on click function, and on the click event we have to set the active to I plus 1, and we want to set this as well, token, and here we have the token, and we have to simply pass the data of the token. So this is how we can send as an object. So we have to send the name. So you can see this is the coin, and we have the image and we have the name. Okay, so element dot not image, we have to send, let's send the in name, and we have to send the image. So element dot ing. So this is the image data we are sending in the token. Hope you guys have understood that what we are exactly doing. Now let's take the image. We'll say search element dot image. If we have the image, then display the image. If we don't have the image, then we have to display this hardcode image, ether, and it will have the alt, it will have the width, it will have the height, 30. That looks pretty good to me. Now come down, and here we're going to display the actual name of the token. So things are looking good. Come back here, and if we simply turn this, save it, and here you can see we got all the token. So we have the input, we have the hardcode demo data. So things are looking pretty good, and now we can start styling this component. Okay, so let's come here, simply copy this search token, and let's go to the style file, search token, and make it side by side, and let's start styling this. So we'll target that. First thing, we have to set the position is going to be absolute, margin 0 auto, background color is going to be our primary color, padding is going to be 2 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, width is going to be 13 ram, height is going to be 25 ram. Come down, we have to target the search token box heading. Okay, what error we are getting? Okay, no problem, compilation error, flex, and align term center, justify content space between. We'll come down, we have to take this media query only, and max width is going to be 35 em. We'll say width is going to be 95%, so looks pretty good. And now we can start styling. So come here, we have to target the search token box, search, and display is going to flex, align item center, background color is going to be our, let's say, second primary color, padding is going to be 0.5 ram and 1 ram, border radius 0.5 ram, gap is going to be 1 ram. So that's how it will look. Come down, and we have to target the input. We'll say background color is going to be transparent, outline 0, border 0, color we're going to attach this primary color, and font width is going to be 500, width is going to be 90%, and that's how it will look. Come down, we have to simply get it box token, and here what we have called, so it's actually search token dash box, it's tokens, copy Let's target the margin top 1.5 RAM, and display is going to be grid template column repeat for 1FR. Gap is going to be zero point 0.5 RAM. That's how it will look pretty beautiful. Come here, and we have target the span, and display is going to be flex. Align item center. Gap is going to be zero point 0.2 RAM. Border 2 pixels solid, and it will have our second primary color. Width is going to be 5.7 RAM, and padding is going to be zero point 0.3 RAM. Border radius 1 RAM, and we'll have a cursor pointer. So that's how it will look. Come here, just target the active class, and we'll say background color is going to be this, and color is going to be this. So that looks pretty good. And come back and let's set the media query. So we'll target the tokens, and we'll say display is going to be flex, wrap is going to be wrapped. So that's how it will look on a mobile device. Okay, we're going to fix this one. This looks pretty big, but we're going to fix it. So if we close, this is how it will look on our desktop. It's looking perfect. You can see 100% responsive. You can click and you can simply select. You can simply close. Okay, we can't close it. So let's reload this. So what we can do, simply close this one and come here. And here we are doing this one. Simply remove this exclamation mark and it will get off. And if you click on this, okay, we have some problem. It's a open token is not defined. Actually, this is the error we are getting for the quite long. And I know why it's happening. Instead of calling set open token, I'm called something else. So let's make it here. And where it is. So here we are doing this one, and this is what we have. Simply copy that one, and that's what we are sending here. That's what we are receiving here, and that's what we are calling here. No more problem we have here. So actually this is not the problem. Actually it's happening here in the search token. So this problem is not happening in the search token, it's happening in the euro section. Okay, this is the problem we have, I guess. So let's have a look. Okay, here we have calling this, but we have to call this one. Simply copy this one, and that's what we have to call here. And simply copy this, and that's what we have to call here. Now this will work fine, and these are fine. You don't need to do any changes. Simply reload the page, and now let's test. You can see, you can close it. You can open the component and you can simply click, but you can't close it. So we have a problem in the close. Okay, that's what we are receiving. Simply come here, we can select, but we can't close it. And okay, that's the problem we have. I got it. So these are the good. This is looking good, but this is also looking good. And the reason why we are having this issue is because this. So here you can see we have this open token too, and this is not what we are utilizing. And instead of open token writing twice, we have to write this, replace this one and save it, close, and now you can see it's working fine. Open, close, select whichever token you want. But right now you can see the token are not changing because we have provided the same name. So let's come here, and here we have the coins, and let's quickly change the name of this coin. Okay, so this is the ether. Let's make it die dog fun with 9 uni time lu. This become o, and this become hey. So I've changed the name of the token, and the name of the token is changed. And if you select any token, you can see this tolerance is working fine, and you can see everything is working fine. No more issues we have here. But here we have to select the token. So if I select this token, a time, and here you can see the time is changed, so the state is changed. If we click here, the fun, and this is changed. That's working fine, and this one is also working fine. No issues we have here. You can easily open and close the model. So that looks pretty good. So what we can do is, let's come here. Here we're going to take another use state, and this will say account, because right now we don't have the data on which we can do the testing. So that's why we are going with this hardcore data. Okay, so we'll say account, and it will be false initially. false, and scroll down, and here we're going to call that. So we'll say paste here, and if account is true then do this, or if account is false then do this. Okay, so now this one is still working. Here we have to do the changes. So simply copy this one, and that's what we're going to call in the second button, and this will open the list of the tokens a user have in the MetaMask. And that looks good. It's working fine. You can see it's working fine. All the token list is displaying, and here we have to do the changes. So if you turn it this true, so the current wallet will open, and if you turn it to false, the token list will open. So that looks fine, and here we have to do the change. We'll say display the account address once the user is connected. So that's how it will look. Let's make it a little bigger. That's how it will look, the address of the token. And if we make it true, we have this one, and here we have to change this text to connect. We'll say connect. Here we have click and connect. If user is connected, then we have to display this one. Let's turn this false, and now it looks good. This looks beautiful. You can open and close. Everything is dynamic. I hope you guys can appreciate that how everything is looking good. We have built the beautiful UI part for our Uniswap clones, and now we're going to assign the functionality in the next section. Okay, so let's have a look final time that how it's looking. And this is the problem we have. It's going behind. Let's fix this issue. So this is the problem we have in the token list, and we can come back to the CSS, and all we have to do is to simply provide this Z index. Z is something high, and it will come on top of that. Okay, that looks good. This is also looking fine, 100% responsive, and this looks little big, but we're going to make it small. Okay, for the timing, let's leave it like it. We're going to fix it later. So that looks good, and everything's looking fine. No issues we have. So the template is almost ready, and finally we have built the entire template of our Uniswap clones. Now all we have to do is to add the functionality. So we are done in the first part. We have built this beautiful UI with all the dynamic pop-ups, all the demo data. Now in the second section, we're going to build the smart contract, and we're going to test that smart contract using Mocha library in Hardhat. That's what we're going to do in the second part. In the third part, we're going to connect our smart contract with SDK of Uniswap. Don't need to worry if it sounds confusing. I'll explain you everything, that how you can use Uniswap smart contract, Uniswap SDK to do all these swaps, pools, liquidity, fetching data, everything. So hope you have enjoyed this first section. You have learned all the basic fundamentals of the React and Next.js, how to build a beautiful UI using normal CSS. So that's why I have included this part in the first section, where I want to teach you everything about the React. So if you learn whatever I have covered in this so far about the React, so you are ready. That's the only knowledge you need, and you will gain knowledge as you will build project. But this is good for the beginner. If you know this much about React, then you can start working on the blockchain part. Okay, so that's the end of this first section. Let's move to the next section in the next video. In that, we're going to learn about, in that video we're going to build the smart contract and test the smart contract in the Hardhat. So I'll see you there.